Hey, this is Keith. I'm at Lakefront Promenade Park in Mississauga. Another update for you on the progress of the brand new beach volleyball courts going up right behind me here. They're almost completed, almost. So I'm just walking around to check them out. I see a few quirks, a few problems with these courts, and I'm going to point them out in this video because that's kind of what's left here at the courts. But for right now, take a look at it here at 6 in the morning on July 27th. That's the date I'm here. First, I want to talk about a couple of potential problems with these poles that are here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Well, first of all, these poles are metal, solid metal poles, which is good. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you notice, there are absolutely no attachments, holes, or anything on these poles, which means there's no way to hook your net up to them. So I know they can always come here with a big drill and drill them and then put in some hooks and rings or whatever you need, maybe a ratchet. But right now, these are big solid metal poles with no attachments whatsoever. So that's a potential problem, easily fixed, but a potential problem. Okay, now I have to show you another potential problem with these poles that are here. As you notice, I attached a net to this side, so I'm going to run down the length of the net here, and you can check me out as I string this net along. But as I get to the end down here, you're going to see what the problem is. I'm almost there. Here we go. Here is the net. It has gone well beyond the pole. So, wow. Look at this. Are these two poles like a meter too close together? Because this net is not going to fit. There's no way I can put this net through a hook. You know, put the net through a hook and then tighten it. Because the net goes well beyond these two poles. So, wow. Either they're going to have a custom net for these poles, like 4 custom nets, or they're going to have a problem when they try to hook up the nets and find out you can't tighten them because they're far beyond the length of the pole. So there is another potential problem that could be kind of disastrous. I guess you could always dig up the pole and move it another meter out, but that would be kind of a pain in the ass considered they're cemented in already. But that could be fixed. I'm just wondering, is my net really long, or did they actually make these poles too close together? One problem I talked about before, I'm going to mention it again, is the lack of a fence anywhere around these courts. I mean, as I spin around, you'll see there's no fence. There's nothing to stop the volleyballs from running down the hill that's right in front of me. Here, let me spin around and show you. That is a very steep hill behind me, and that's where the volleyball is going to end up a lot, quite often, because look underneath. This pathway is as wide. That's the only flat area behind the courts before you hit the hill. And without a fence or some kind of netting or something here, the ball is going to be continuously running down into the parking lot, which is going to be a major pain in the ass for anyone playing here. And the other side is exactly the same, except the other side has the roadway on it. So, I mean, you can always put in a fence, but the fact they haven't put in a fence yet is kind of puzzling because these courts have to be ready pretty much in the next few days. They can do it next week, but I don't see any effort right now into putting in a fence. I think they're done construction here pretty much. So, wow, no fence. That's going to be a royal pain in the ass for anyone playing here. It is really steep back there. Standing at the corner of the courts on the east end, look behind me. This area behind me, the embankment, is super steep. In fact, if you hit a volleyball hard enough, it would not only go down the embankment, it would go right into the lake on the other side of the parking lot. So it would be a major royal pain in the ass for that to happen here. And it's going to, because there's no fencing to stop the ball. So whoever planned the courts didn't plan for that, and whoever ends up playing here is going to have some serious complaints. It's okay to happen once, but when it happens over and over and over because nothing's going to stop the ball, yeah, people are going to complain. That's for sure. I'm walking through the parking lot just below the beach volleyball courts. I want to point out a quirk, and I'm calling it a quirk. Look behind me. That's where the volleyball courts are, but you can't see them because they're on top of the hill. You can see the grass on the side of the hill. You can see poles for lights up there, but you would never know there's volleyball courts up there unless you actually knew the courts were there. You could drive by, you could look for them. Not a lot of people are going to know these courts exist. If it wasn't for these videos I'm making, well, I don't think a lot of people would know the courts are there. and you could drive around, and I think it's going to be hard for people to actually find these courts. It's not a residential area. People can come here to use the water park, so to speak, the splash pad. But the quirk of this area is the courts are very hard to see. They're on top of a hill. Right now I'm walking down the road. This is the entrance to the park. Behind me to my right here, up there on top of the hill, that's the beach volleyball courts. But you could drive by and never see them because they're up on top of a hill. Most people aren't expecting that. You can see the poles, the lights, but you don't know what that's for. That could be for a park, it could be for a ball field, you just don't know. So that's the interesting thing. You could drive by here and never know these courts are here because you just can't see them. They're on top of a little hill. Interesting. Potentially a problem, a quirk. Yeah, a quirk. That's a good way to say it, because not many people build beach volleyball courts on top of a hill. I haven't seen it before. Interesting. I hope you enjoyed my little update on the construction of these brand new beach volleyball courts. This is Keith at Lakefront Promenade Park on this beautiful morning, July 27th. Bye for now.